I remind you again that participant, the guest will drink 15 minutes left.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much um, for the announcements. All right, everyone. So we are going to proceed to the grand final rounds.
Hi, am I audible?
Okay, thank you. When the case building is over. Furthermore, the first speaker of the team, affirmative team, is invited to present his argument for 7 minutes 20 seconds, starting from now.
Salin apa nama argument itu, lepas tu debat betul-betul. Sekarang nak
Wait, I'm not starting my speech yet. Am I audible?
Bye-bye.
We're audible, Zoom. Okay, thank you. My gender pronouns is she or her, POI or low through chat box. And I'm going to start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Judge, we believe that in status quo there are a lot of MSME, especially in Indonesia, we know it as UMKM. So MSME is a micro, small and medium enterprises. Which is they're still a newly licensed business and a small business. And the definitions of RCEP is a free trade agreement among countries in ASEAN and China, Japan, Australia. Which is we have the powerhouse that we believe are going to danger the existing of this SME that I will explain later on my argument. And we define the partner countries as each countries or every countries inside that included in this RCEP. And so our stand is that we believe that this RCEP it weakens the existing of MSME business in partner countries. With our goal is that we want to protect this MSME in ASEAN and ASEAN partner countries. So going on to my first argument, why is it justified to say that this will kill the MSME business in partner countries, right? So we believe that the monopoly likely to be happen in our side of the house. How is that? So I'm going to explain you this. So MSME is a newly rising business, not really settled yet. There are no big branding yet, not like a giant company that everybody knows their brand. So this MSME is likely to be known people, right? With the existence of RCEP, we believe that it's going to kill this kind of this MSME or newly rising business, right? Because this free trade agreement or RCEP is going to make it easier for foreign product to come to some countries without taxes. Then it's most likely that big developing countries or powerhouses such as China are going to dominating the market. How is that so? Because China with a predatory price. China have they sell product for a crazily cheap price. We believe that is going to kill this MSME business because MSME still need the quality check and so on and so forth. Their price is going no, thank you. PIR through chat box, thank you. It's going to they're more likely to have more or more like pricey price. So we believe that this heavily cheap price are going to kill the MSME. Okay, we're going to characterize people, right? There are two people. There are pragmatic people that are going to choose cheap price over pricey, but two is someone that really considered the quality, right? So we believe that both of them are still going to kill this MSME anyway. And how is that so? First, with pragmatic people, because of we have a competitor like China that have a heavily cheap price, they're going to choose China's product. So this MSME business in the other partner countries are going to die in the end of the day, right? But second of all, if there are people with that prefer the higher quality, we still have a country with a good product such as Japan and South Korea. And these people is going to believe and buy the product for Japan and South Korea instead of brand from other partner countries because they're well known. The Japan and South Korea are well known, so they're going to choose that anyway. So either of probability, we still think that it's still going to kill this MSME anyway. And second of all, if opposition's no thank you, opposition's going to say that if they say that evolutions will happen and so on and so forth in their side of the house, we believe that no, evolution will never happen in this side of the house, right? Because what? Because first they need to evaluate, innovating, developing the product, right? And that kind of process needs lots of money. And again, this MSME is a new learning business, so the money that they are going to spend to evaluate and innovating, developing this product is going to make the price is more higher than before. So they're not going to reach the market anyway. But even if their target market people is people that prefer good quality over price, we believe that still people are still having a trust issues, ladies and gentlemen. Because why? Because they know giant company for quite long time. For an example, Laneige from skincare from Korea. And if there's a MKM or MSME business that come with a new brand and promising you that it's a good quality, are you going to trust that MSME business? Are you going to trust your face to wear that product because you don't know yet that the quality is as good as they're talking or not, right? So we believe that even evolution will happen, is still going to kill this MSME business in the end of the day, right? POI through chat box, and I'm not answering any POI right now. And also, we that the second layer of my agreement is that this company, this MSME business, is not going to able to expand their business. And how is that so? Because even if this RSCPP have no taxes and so on and so forth, we believe that distributing costs, shipping costs, big productions, or to go outside of foreign, we believe that it's really hard for this MSME, right? So giant company are habituated to do that. Giant company are easily do that because they do that for a long time. But MSME is going to struggling a lot with expanding their market to foreign country. Most importantly, the MSME under developed country, right? So they need to take care more. They need to take care of more, distribution cost, shipping cost, big production. They have a lot to take care of. So we think that still they cannot do that. So even if at the very best scenario they can expand their market, we believe that to gain trust they need to do a big promotion again, limited budget, and we're going to if it has failed, then it's going to kill the MSME business anyway in the end of the day, right? So we believe that that's going to kill them. But second argument, why is it harmful under this side of the house, right? Because of the reason that I said in my first argument about this, how this is going to kill the MSME business. We believe that it's going to kill the country as well. Because why? Because this MSME, for example, UMKM Indonesia is a basic economy income at countries, and if the MSME business is dead, then the economy of the country is that also this is also going to be that also, right? But second of all, if the MSMEs have employed, right? If they are goes bankrupt, then it's going to increasing of unemployment in the country, right? So we believe that the underdeveloped country is going to have more problem to take care of, and so that's why we believe that this RCPP weakens existing MSME business, and we are very, very proud to propose.
Okay, thank you for the first speaker of the affirmative team who has presented their argument for 7 minutes 15 seconds. For the next opportunity, the first speaker of the negative team is invited his argument for 7 minutes 20 seconds, starting from now.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My gender pronouns is
sorry, I hate to interrupt, but before you start, I want to give a brief reminder to everyone that a POI preference depends on each speaker, meaning that if someone preferred to be interrupted via chat box, then you should not, unmute it. So goes the same for someone that prefers to be interrupted with chat. Just to be respectful, just so that the judges can also hear the argumentations properly. That's it. Please continue. Thank you.
sorry, my bad. All right, I'm going to start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Mr. Speaker, we need to understand on how back in ASEAN Summit 2011 in Bali, we believe on how all these partnering countries, the ASEAN member states coming in that summit believe they want to make an agreement in favor of all parties related. So it's for sure it will be a win-win situation, in which I'm going to explain further in my speech later. So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Firstly, I bid to honorable panel of educators, meticulous timekeeper, formidable opponent, my fellow comrades and audience of the floor. So, few things I'm going to read in my speech is that firstly, I'm going to give the rebuttal towards the Prime Minister. Moving on to the stance, the burden of proof in order for government to win this debate, the principle, and my one and only argument, which is RCEP will empower both ASEAN members and partnering countries. So let's move on to the rebuttal. The first speaker brought two arguments on how the one argument on how we'll see they said on how RCEP will weaken the SMEs, especially at countries like China, because of they sell goods at a very low price. We think this argument is really contingent upon the idea of a China selling is at a lower price, in which we think what I want to ask in my POI, in which what happened if China were to sell it at a high price? So what happened to your argument? Will your argument still stand? Will this motion still stand? So she didn't answer what will happen at the end of the day, at the point of which these countries are decided to sell their goods at a high price. So their case will easily be toppled down because of they based on contingency upon China selling at a low price. And then secondly, on how they assume how, as example, Korea sell their products, pharmaceutical products called Laneige at a very high price, so that people will assume it is bad in quality. We think trust issue is very subjective and should not be debatable. That's why we think their case is very is not that strong enough for them to brought into this debate. So subjectivity and contingency argument should not stand into this debate. So let's move on to my first task. My first task is to tell you the stance coming from opposition. The opposition side stance is very simple on how RCEP will empower SMEs in partnering countries. In order for government to win this debate, they need to prove to us two things under their burden of proof. Firstly, is that RCEP will directly give negative impact to SMEs in partnering countries. And then secondly, what do you mean by weakness? We don't see any direct definition on what they mean by weakness. Is it mean by blocking SMEs from making trading or whether the SMEs will be dying under this motion in our world? So we see the burden of proof didn't be fulfilled by Prime Minister, in which the RCEP will directly give negative impact because of their arguments are contingent upon China selling at a low price, and then the trust issue, we don't see any tangible outcome from their arguments. Let's move on to the principle. I have three principles to present to you. First principle on how there must be a reason why these partnering countries are being included under RCEP. So we see right now Australia, China, New Zealand, and Korea
each of the particular country have their own specialty, have their own local produce. So that's why we think there is a reason why we include them in RCEP, because of at the end of the day, we want them to benefit ASEAN member states and also benefit the partner countries at the end of the day. They don't answer what is the reason why, or maybe what is the purpose of they making this agreement, and rather they're just making assumption that SMEs will die under this motion. Second principle on how incentive under RCEP. We see on how under RCEP, those MSMEs will not die at all because of the incentive we propose to you under RCEP. We propose to you a lot of things. We propose to you a free trade agreement, which is at the rate of 90% by in 20 years time. And then secondly, on how we will dilute all the tariff fee, all the import-export fee. So they don't take this into account. We see they are very convenient, in which they only take things that are very critical to them and not critical under our side. So it's not the debate when you are talking all the good things and convenient things under your side. Let's move on to the third principle. The third principle is that the goal of an agreement, you need to understand the nature and the characteristic of an agreement. Whenever there is an agreement, for sure there will be a benefiting the both sides or two parties that are related in making this particular agreement. So we don't see that Australia, China, or maybe New Zealand, they are dumb enough to actually join RCEP just for the sake of ASEAN member states. We don't see the reason why they are so they will inclined to do that thing, because we believe at the end of the day, those particular countries, those partnering countries, for sure they will join RCEP for the sake of their own particular country. Before I move on to my argument, before 6, any POI. All right, sure. So let's move on to my my one and only argument, which is RCEP will empower both ASEAN members and partnering countries. We believe under this argument, no party will be left behind because of what I told you, the characteristic of agreement, in which that there will be a win-win situation. Both parties related under this agreement will get the benefit that they want to have at the end of the day. So the first thing I'm going to do under my argument is that I'm going to portray to you a world without RCEP and a world with RCEP. And then lastly, I'm going to show to you the benefits of RCEP under our circumstances. And then what is the causal linkage as to why we think that RCEP will only empower the SMEs of businesses in the partnering countries. So let's move on to the first thing I'm going to do. A world without RCEP. A world without RCEP is a world where ASEAN members are dying within each other. Because of after this, these ASEAN members, they will only able to trade freely among them, but not with any other partnering countries that could offer a lot of things. As example, we can see how China can provide a lot of chips, a lot of technological items, where New Zealand can provide dairy milk, can provide fruit and vegetables. And Korea, on the other hand, they can provide pharmaceutical products and a health supplement. We see that under the world without RCEP, which is the government world, after this, we can see how these ASEAN countries will die because of they cannot have the health supplement at a very good price. They cannot have technological, they cannot have chip in your phones because of after this, they will need to pay a very high price to be compared with our world with RCEP. So resources like technology and fruits, vegetables will be expensive for them to bear after this. That's why we think a world with RCEP would be a better world. So why do I say that? I say the RCEP will be a better world under outside the house because of RCEP will empower the SMEs. Why? Because of after this, all of the countries in which that what I told you just now on how China is very specialized in technological items, and how we can see on how New Zealand and South Korea will have a very good pharmaceutical product. After this, we will have it at a very low price and very accessible for any other ASEAN member states and also in other partnering countries to actually got the items at a very cheap price. Because as you can see, the incentives provided by RCEP, provided under RCEP is that what I told you on how there is a free trade agreement. There will be no tariff fee. There will be no import and export fees. So that's why we think under our world, we will only empower MSMEs to be compared with their world. There will be no such thing as incentive when you want to trade with the partnering countries. That's why we say that resources and money after this under our world, it will only circulate within ASEAN members of states and partnering countries to be compared with outside of the house. So under outside of the house, at the very least, the economy of the RCEP signatories members will be uplift together as a whole. So then what is the causal linkage of this argument? The causal linkage of this argument, I already quoted to you on how a world with RCEP will be a better place for ASEAN member states and partnering countries. That's why with all those reasons why we will stick on a stance in which RCEP will only empower SMEs in partnering countries. Thank you.